I find myself once again in between a lot of projects, and I'm feeling a lot of pressure in a way that feels like squeezing and shoving and jamming and forcing. I'm currently in a place where I'm kind of reevaluating my relationship with the creative spirit, not in like a I'm trying to be less devoted kind of way, but just more like I'm trying to have a relationship with boundaries. Turns out you do also have to maintain boundaries with the spirit world. Hi, I'm learning that. Between you and me, this whole creative spirit devotion thing has been very fun, very unsustainable for a long term. I've been neglecting parts of my life and parts of myself that need to be taken care of to like be a human and function in this three-dimensional space. Took a break and took care of some of that stuff and came back to it. I realized, oh, I was actually really spreading myself very thin with the amount of creative projects I have open and the amount of pressure that I was putting on myself to make them something bigger than they needed to be. I don't know, you live and you learn. I could probably go on like a whole long ranty dissertation about what I'm learning right now, but I'm still kind of currently learning it, so I don't really have a conclusion. Maybe there will be a conclusion about it at the end of this video. What I'm realizing is while my energy is being spread thin with all of these things that I have going on, it is taking away my focus from the things that I truly desire to create. I think that the pursuit of authenticity is something that is a give and a take, trial and error. You live and you learn. And as you as a person grow, your relationship with authenticity will also grow and change. And it's just kind of like a constant evolution. So for me so far, what I'm learning is that it is a constant checking in with myself and asking, is this what I am really aligned with? Sometimes yes, sometimes no, sometimes almost. I don't really know how long I'm going to be filming this, but I'm just going to work on the things that I have open and take you guys with me as a way to focus on them and create focus around these kind of frazzled, fragmented things, and really just take you with me through my life as I am creating things and navigating this relationship with the creative spirit. What I've been working on lately are these notebook covers. They are these fabric notebook covers, and I'll just show you mine really quickly. Like, I'm really excited about them. I think they're really cool. I'm a journal girl. This one is really fat because I have a bunch of stuff in it randomly, but it holds my planner, it holds my dump notebook, like brain dumps and stuff, note-taking, thoughts and things, my fountain pens, a highlighter. I kind of showed the process of me making this on TikTok. Not really showed the process, I talked about it a little bit on TikTok, and I had a couple people ask about them, and I've shared them on Instagram a couple times, and I've had people ask about them. And then I made this passport pocket version, which is so cool. I'm making a bunch of these. I'm gonna keep this one, and I'm gonna keep this one. I made these for myself, and I'm tinkering through it. Like, there's details of this that are not quite to where I would want them to be if I was to sell them. But I decided, okay, I'm gonna cut out 3 of each size, this A5 size and then the pocket size, and use up some of my scrap fabric and make some to sell. Well, that was like weeks ago, like maybe a month ago that I cut all these out. And now I'm at a place where I have all these open projects, and I just have a really hard time justifying putting all of these things in a bin and not putting them out into the world. Like, I've already gotten this far. I'm actually really on the last step of all of this. And I've been fighting myself to get to this point. I think I'm sacrificing a little bit of my authentic art creation vision for the sake of making something to sell to people. And that's not necessarily wrong. It just is what it is. And I think that if and when I decide to make another batch of them in the future, I'm already seeing in my head how I would love to do it differently. And I got caught up in this whole idea of like, if I don't make a process-oriented video for each project that I make, then it doesn't have like a true purpose. And I don't think that that's really how this works. I do feel really called to make process-oriented videos for certain things, and it can be very fun. But when it feels like urgent and panicky, that's when I know that I'm not really in alignment with something. So I'm actually abandoning that video, and it's just gonna be like you guys are about to watch me finish these notebooks. I swear sometimes it's like, I don't know, man, the universe speaks through my tools. And it's not like I'm feeling weird. It's not like I'm feeling down about what I'm working on. But what is happening is my thread is breaking and my tension, all of a sudden, nothing has changed. All of a sudden, my tension is so wrong that my thread is just snapping. I made it through the binding on this. I went around the whole thing. I was just thinking, wow, this is going so smoothly. This is great. This flow feels great. And what I've been doing is I'll go around it a second time with the zigzag stitch, partly because I like the aesthetic. I like to go around the edge and just make sure that it's really just on there, you know? It's maybe like a little over precaution. And then all of a sudden, literally nothing changed, except I switched to zigzag stitch, which I've been doing for the duration of all of these freaking notebooks. Yeah, all of a sudden the tension is so tight, my thread is breaking like every 3 stitches. And so then I think, okay, whatever. Maybe this one doesn't need a zigzag stitch because it's pretty clean. So I move on to the pen loops, and I'm doing the pen loops like I've been doing all of the pen loops. And the thread on the back is getting bunched up. Everything is threaded properly. I took all of the spools out, like, and bobbin out and rethreaded everything because sometimes, you know, maybe the bobbin gets weird. It happened again. So I ripped the whole thing out and I'm going to move on to my daily drawing practice. But I got like an hour of work in tonight. Hopefully I'll be able to finish these this weekend. Today I've decided to take up residence in my jewelry studio. You see, I just like physically cannot bring myself to sew. I just cannot physically bring myself to sew those godforsaken fucking notebooks. They are driving me crazy and they might not get finished. And you know what? It is what it is. And I think this is a lesson that I'm also learning as a creative is sometimes you just don't freaking finish the project and it doesn't matter. I'm making jewelry today. It's summer, you know, it's the very end of summer and it's been hot because I live in the desert. So yeah, I've been avoiding my jewelry studio because it has a like wall unit right there. You can see right there. There's like a wall air conditioning unit. And it's not bad, it does work, but my soldering stuff is outside and it is damn hot out there. And it's just hard to feel excited about soldering in a 100-degree garage with the heat in your face. And it's just like, oh, pain. You know, I've just associated the whole thing with pain. So I've not been feeling very inspired to be in here this summer, but it rained all night long last night and it is like 20 degrees cooler than it's been all summer. And I'm very grateful. So I'm going to take advantage of this cooler weather to be in my studio comfortably. And I have a bunch of stuff that I've started that I think we could just keep on chipping away at. Headphones acquired. Let's get into it. I'm going to start by organizing some stuff that came in the mail the other day. So I've already opened it. I know it's not an unboxing. I'm going to show you what I got. Don't mind my cat. He has been hanging out with me all day, but if I stop paying attention to him, he cries. So don't mind him. But the first thing are 4mm bezel cups and corresponding sterling silver ear posts. I make stud earrings that sell very well in boutiques, and I need to do a restock of them very soon. We have 4 ounces of casting grain. I might do some sand casting, but I also have been getting into the process of milling my own sheet metal. I have a rolling mill, and so I've been using my scraps to roll sheet, and I really like the process. It's harder. You don't have as much product on hand to just make whatever you want whenever you want, but you can make it more specifically to what you're looking for. I like it. I think it makes the whole thing a little more magical. I have, what is this? I want to say this is like 30 feet of 20 gauge fine silver wire. I'm going to make a chain, maybe 2 chains. I think I bought enough wire of each of the wires to make 2 different kinds of chains. So I'm going to make videos about that like later. Then, yeah, another certain amount of feet of 22 gauge fine silver wire. Like I said, we're making some Etruscan Roman style loop and loop chains. A little this, little that, I'd say. A necklace collection of varying stones. And then these are gonna be sapphires. These will be fish necklace eventually. Something happens every now and then in this here studio space. I think it would be nice to work in there. I get ready to like start, and then all of the energy in my entire body leaves. And this has been going on for years. I sit in this chair and I'm so tired and I'm so not wanting to do this. I don't know what that's about. I make things all the time that I feel really excited about. And I got to the point that I got to with the pendants that I showed you guys already in a place where I was really stoked to be in here. But right now my eyes burn and I'm so heavy and tired and I just want to lay down. I don't know. I feel like there's something wrong with me, but there's not, you know? I don't know. Okay, on like a real note though, not every day in the studio has to be like high productivity levels. And I practice this thing where I know that there was something in me that wanted to be in here today. It sounded really fun, honestly. And so when I meet that resistance, I say, okay, let's take a second and just start. Let's just see what happens if we go for 15 minutes. If you're still hating this after 15 minutes, you can go do something else. Because sometimes it's like I'll just bend to that feeling and be like, yeah, no, you're right. I can't do this. I'm going to go do something else. I was wrong. And then I kind of feel like guilty for not even trying. And I don't know if guilt is the right word, but I do feel like a little bit of resistance like, well, you didn't even try. So as you guys saw, I cut out the back plates of everything, had to resolder a couple things, and I'm feeling a lot better. I do also know that around 3 p.m. I get the sleepy blues. Guess what time it is? It's between 3 and 4 p.m. and I got those sleepy blues. So we're just gonna work a little longer and see where we get. And honestly, I'm probably not going to finish any of these pieces today, but I made a little bit of progress, and that's better than nothing. Hey, so it turns out it was the thread that I was using. It turns out that the True Sew coat by Coats and Clark that you can get at Walmart is shit. Throw it in the trash. It is not worth $1 of your hard-earned money. I blew out the sewing machine. Oh gosh, you can see all the animals. I did blow out the sewing machine with some compressed air, and that helped. There were many chunks of sewing dust in there. Old baby girl here gets quite a bit of use. Baby girl here. For those of you who don't know, I inherited this sewing machine from my grandma. There's not a computer in it. It is old school. She squeaks. She gets used like a racehorse. She was serviced a little while ago, like maybe in March. Good to go. She's had 10,000 miles run on her and then some, and she's good to go. I love this sewing machine. So, you know, when there's a problem, sometimes it's me, sometimes it's the universe. Turns out this time it was, in fact, my cheap ass bullshit, terrible quality thread. Do not buy it. So what I have for you guys is this. I haven't quite finished them yet. This one's my favorite. It's all yellow with pink, orange and black gingham, black and white houndstooth pockets. Very cute. It'll be hard not to keep this one for myself. I'm thinking pink elastic. Patchwork situation. This is some quilted bits from a bag that I made last year, plus some scraps fused together, sewn together, blue interior, black pockets. This one is some more of that yellow fabric, houndstooth, random pieces of cotton, some more cotton, some like gray floral, black pockets. We have this large black and green one. It's this like black fabric that used to be a pair of pants that I patched together, and then I sew all of the edges of the patchwork down so that it's really nice and secure, and it kind of gives it like an aesthetic quality that I think is interesting. Pink and black gingham, black pockets, 2 pen loops. One is like Mac Daddy. This one has all kinds of pockets in it. This is like Pocket Supreme. This one, I don't even know, man. It's like, why did I not go this hard on all of them? Because it was a pain in the ass to get all of these pockets measured correctly. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pockets, and they're all credit card sized. So here, you can take your Rudy's gift card. You can take your Rudy's barbecue gift card, slide it in there. Credit cards, IDs, business cards. You could just like really fill it with pictures and notes and all of your little keepsakes. 3 pen loops, orange and black gingham fabric again. Another little pocket over here, 2 little pockets over here. And then the back / front, actually, the front is this patchwork with some linen, some cotton, and just little pieces, mostly greens and browns and a little blue. This one is more of like a tropical vibe. Actually, I'm gonna trim the threads on it that I forgot to trim earlier. We have a jaguar and some monstera leaves, some cotton, more of that yellow cotton, more of that houndstooth, really pretty, I think. Pink and black gingham, and then this floral fabric that you can see on the front I used for the pockets as well. It's a really soft cotton. And last but not least is this blue and blue situation. I did a little orange and green patch in the middle, and I use a zigzag stitch, partly because I like the aesthetic of it, but partly because I think that it's really secure to really go back and forth over and over along the edges of all of these patches to secure them down so that hopefully it doesn't fray and get weird on you. And then the inside is more of a neutral monochrome gray situation. We have some scrap linen and some cotton, and it's just a simple like 1 pocket, 2 pockets. It would appear that I've messed this up, and I just now realized that I messed it up. That's really funny. I actually sewed these pockets closed, and you guys are witnessing me realizing that in real time. How hilarious. Okay, so there's supposed to be 2 pockets here and 1 pocket here, but it's just 1 pocket and extra fabric, I guess. And then 2 pockets in the back, and then 1 pocket here and 3 pen loops. So all the eyelets will go right here. It'll be like 4 total elastics, and then you guys can add more of your own elastics later. If you want, you can learn how to do that. And then there will be an elastic right here in the back, and it'll kind of sit like this burrito style. I feel much more satisfied now that that's done. I'm glad I didn't give up. I knew I would regret not giving it one more try today. And for the rest of tonight, I'm probably just gonna keep reading. It's Tuesday, my dudes. Cheese says hello, you can't see him. He says hi. The theme of this week is focus. Like, I don't know what it is. Virgo season kind of set in, and I am feeling really inspired to focus. I don't really know. I feel like I'm kind of floundering. Like how do people stay organized? How do people keep desiring to do the same thing over and over again? I don't know. I don't understand it. I can't figure it out in my body. I think part of this is a place of acceptance and getting clear on my goals and recognizing that flow is something that's really worth paying attention to and following. And like sometimes I'm not going to want to sew, and sometimes I'm not going to want to knit or make jewelry or whatever, but other times I will. And seizing the opportunity to do those things when it feels really good, and recognizing that sometimes I do have to do things that I don't want to do. When I start to think about it too much, it makes my brain feel fuzzy, and I get this really like gross, congested feeling in my solar plexus. And I can't tell if it's just like I need to pluck out that residue out of my solar plexus, or if it's just trying to tell me like, hey, don't do that. I'm having a hard time discerning that. I have one last thing to say before I actually get back to work, is that I recognize that this is a story that I'm telling myself, and it's a story that I've been looping on for years. This I don't know what I'm doing story, and I cannot figure out the angle to pluck this out of my being. I cannot figure it out. Am I carrying around a corpse of my previous self? Is me saying that I don't know reinforcing that I don't know? It genuinely doesn't feel like it. I decide what I want to do and I still get lost in the mist of I don't fucking know what's going on and I don't know what I want to do and I don't want to do what I wanted to do last week and I feel like really gross about it in my body and it makes me really angry. And I recognize that it's probably a story. I don't know how to rewrite it. And it genuinely makes me so angry. I feel it vibrating in the middle of my bones. It makes me so angry. I don't know what to do about it, and it's making me crazy. So it's been a couple days. You guys have no idea because the way that editing magic works is you just saw me 3 seconds ago. But in my world, it's been 3 days since I've checked in. And I think about it when I'm laying in bed, like, oh yeah, I didn't film today. And the first couple days, I was like, I should just scrap the whole video. Who cares? But last night, I was like, that's not very real of me. And in these last 3 days, I've done a lot of integrating. Day one of not recording, I edited my burnout vlog here. You can see this. And during the process of editing it, I realized sometimes that I'm actually just making these videos for myself. Like the message that I was saying in that video helped me realign myself. And so then I felt like the point of this video changed or was no longer necessarily relevant because it put into perspective that maybe I was spinning my wheels creating rules around how my creativity is supposed to show up and supposed to be that were not really necessary. I know that something for me that I need to keep an eye on when I start to get wound up about things is a sense of urgency. When I find myself really wound up thinking that things need to be done quickly or a certain way, and I put a lot of urgency behind it, I'm not necessarily in my true aligned self. In human design, it's a concept called the not self. I'm a manifesting generator 4-6 profile. For anybody who knows what that means, hi, clock the T, I suppose. But I know that one of my indicators for not self and when I'm slipping into programming is when things get really urgent. And I was sensing just a lot of urgency with these open projects. And for some of the open projects, I was contemplating the why behind why I was doing it. And anything that was not something that I really cared about or doesn't really have a deadline is just something that I want to do. I either chose to just finish it and move on and not even tell you guys about it, honestly, because it doesn't fucking matter, or put it on a simmer and walk away for a minute because, in fact, I am only one person. I am only one human. And the more that I grow into myself and my personal spiritual practice, the more I realize that nothing exists outside of the present moment. The future is not real. The past only exists as a memory. And the only thing that is real and tangible is here and now. Yeah, I enjoy working in a lot of different mediums. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. They all speak different languages and I love that. I love being a polyglot of material. It's so fun to me and I'm never going to change and I don't want to change. I contemplated what it would be like to sit back in the reality of being only a jewelry maker and I played that game. That's just like the plain and simple truth is I played that game and I'm not hanging up my pliers, I'm not hanging up my jewelry tools. I'm just not giving it 100% of my energy anymore. And as a result, I am actually quite fulfilled in many ways creatively. What I have been practicing is focusing on what I'm working on while I'm working on it and not thinking about the other things that I need to work on. Because the reality is the energy ebbs, the energy flows. I was resenting the absolute shit out of making those notebooks. For some reason, I just should have gone to work on something else, truthfully, because once they were finished, I loved them. They were so oh my gosh. And then I sold 4 of them before I even got to share the greater world with what they are. And it just felt really validating. I didn't need that to validate how cool they were, but seeing that immediately people wanted them felt really validating. Like, yes, I am making something that serves people. Because here's the thing, here's the grand switcheroo that has been taking place inside of me lately, is my reason why. And I think without a clear reason why, it can feel like we are sifting through the mist, sifting through the fog, not really sure what we're doing and why. I find myself sifting through the mist and not really feeling the purpose. And the why is the purpose. And it can be something as simple as just, I like beautiful things and I want to make beautiful things. For a long time, my why was to be seen as good by the outside world. But as every video tends to point to right now, my healing journey changed everything for me. And what I've learned in this season of life, I would say the season of summer has been a portal for me. We have transformed. It's just now we have transmuted and integrated the transformation to now fully embody what it is. And I wish that I could send this to my old therapist because I feel like she'd be really proud of me. So, Amanda, if you're watching, hey girl, couldn't have been here without you. As a result, my why has changed. My why feels very community oriented. I've started spending time in spaces that involve other people, specifically groups of women. And as a result, I'm finding parts of myself that I am really, really happy to be excavating. And I'm just filled with gratitude to be able to sit in these spaces. I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot, and the urgency behind all of these projects doesn't feel as strong. I mean, I'm still going to keep working on them, and I'll take you guys along with me, maybe through the rest of this week. Um, it's Saturday, August 30th, as I'm recording this, but maybe let's make it through this weekend and see what happens. I'm trying this thing where I don't smoke weed anymore. And I feel like I can't tap into my channel. And it's really irritating, like a creative channel. Um, I felt like when I was smoking the za all the time, I could get to a creative place really easily, and I think I relied on it. And it's not to say that I can't create without it. I just I think that I have a governor on my mind when I'm sober that tells me my ideas aren't good enough, or you're just like overthinking the whole process, and it's a lot. I'm trying to make a painting for a exhibition that the gallery I work at is putting on, despite the fact that by the time this video comes out, I won't be working there anymore. I'm still going to show my art there. I'm just feeling a little out of sorts. I have the canvas already picked out. It's a collaboration between me and some artist at Arizona State who doesn't know I exist. Um, Austin found this in the trash can outside of the art building, and he's been carrying it around for a long time, and he was going to get rid of it recently. And I was like, oh, no, no, no. I thought you drew that. I thought you were going to finish it. That's mine now. We're going to collaborate. And so I'm going to put something on this. I think I just need to stop looking at TikTok and put on some music and just sink in. Maybe it'll be the worst thing I make all year. And if that's the case, I don't have to show it. Who cares? Okay, so it's been like 24 hours since I've last spoken to you guys. It's feeling really magical in the studio, and I think that today feels like the first day of fall. I have to be so honest with you. The sunlight hasn't exactly changed yet, but it's just like a feeling in the air, like it's here, and I've been waiting for it all freaking month, and it's finally here. I actually hate summer so much. I'm so glad it is over. So, anyway, as I told you guys yesterday, I'm quitting my job. And I told my husband about it, and I've been sitting with it in contemplation, and it is in fact happening. I am quitting my job. I made my 2-week resignation notice. I printed it out. It is in my books for tomorrow's meeting. I'm a little nervous, but I have to be so for real with you. Since I made the decision, I just said, okay, hey, universe, I have made the decision. I am quitting. I quit. And then I was immediately flooded with all kinds of ideas and things to move forward on. And it's nothing that's like brand new. It's all stuff that I've been wanting to bring into reality that I will now have time to bring into reality. And I just feel like I am doing the right thing. when I was trying to decide if I should quit my job a month or two ago, I kept feeling resistance within me, and I kept hearing, "You'll know when the time is right." And I think that now we are at the place where the time is right. I had to go through a portal this month, and I don't even know how to really describe it, but I had some I had some is wisdoms and insights come to me between the Lionsgate portal and the Black Moon. Um, to be woo woo about it, yeah, I transmuted some shit, and I accepted a relationship with a new spirit guide that I'm not really interested in sharing more about. I've spent today just feeling really good in my body, and I'm gonna do some painting. So Austin found this canvas in the trash at ASU. The mountains were already drawn on it by somebody else, the person who threw them away. So I added the checkerboard in the background and the crow and the sun and the chains, and it's making me feel really insecure because I hate the placement of the crow. I think digital art has ruined me a little bit, but alas, I will progress and continue moving forward on this painting. I have a very real tendency to hate everything I make. I don't know what it is. There's always a point at some point during the creative process where I'm like, holy shit, this is the worst thing I've ever created. What the fuck am I actually doing? At some point it eventually comes together. And it's actually not the worst thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. But I feel like if I don't hate it for a portion of my time creating it, it's not going to be good. This is 2 hours later. Honestly, not bad. I was going into this feeling really like I don't like this, and now I'm feeling a little more confident about it. I think I'm gonna do a lot of the finishing details with colored pencils. So a lot of like the streakiness that's going on with the chain, I think I can sort out when I do the details, but it's ready to go on to the next step. Today is the last day that I'm going to film for this vlog. It's September 2nd, so I'm just going to have this be like a August, kind of the end of August vlog. And I feel like I don't even know what I was doing when this vlog started. Sabina today has no idea what Sabina was doing or thinking when I started this vlog. All I know is that I was feeling a little out of sorts and a little panicked about what I was doing with my life, and so much has changed. And as you guys can see, when you are a very growth-oriented person, things can change very fast. And things can change for the better very fast. I did, in fact, put in my 2-week notice yesterday at my gallery job. My cat is trying his best to become the main character of this vlog. He makes biscuits into my skin and it hurts. He stinks like a fart too. I'm going to close this vlog out. This is how we're going to close it out. The moment of tipping for me was editing the burnout vlog. Go watch it. It was insightful, at least to me. You know, maybe the only point of its existence was to knock me back into line. What I am finding is that with presence, anything is possible. Nothing is real outside of the present moment. You can reflect on the past. You can hopefully orient yourself to be guided towards a future that you desire, but that doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is here and now. The only thing that exists for me as I'm recording this here and now is I'm staring at myself on the screen of my cell phone, holding my cat, and he's making biscuits on my arm. He's just looking like a lovely little gentleman, and we're just sitting here, having a time, experiencing this moment here together while I talk to people who might watch this in the future, but I have no way of knowing because that moment does not exist yet. And when it comes to breaking down how my projects are going, trying something different for September, I have created a shorter, more realistic goal list. Instead of having all of my open projects on my list, I have a short handful of projects, one for each material and media that I enjoy working in. That is my goal to finish. It is an open project that I am hoping to finish. I might start some this month. In fact, I already have. I powered through and I did 2 paintings yesterday, randomly so that I could hang them in the exhibition at the gallery that I am probably not going to work at by the time this video comes out. What I'm going to try and do organizationally is just create a little bit of guidance with what I would like to see finished for the month of September. We're going to see what happens. It's an experiment, just like everything else we do in this life. And I also have set for myself a curriculum of like books that I would like to finish this month. So just trying to keep it guided where I'm not just flailing around, but also having room for things to ebb and flow. You know, with the projects that I've picked, I know that confidently I can set my mind to it and finish them, but I also know that it will not consume all of the time that I have available to me this month. And I will have room for those spontaneous paintings or whatever, comes up between now and then. I'm setting myself up for a plan, but that plan doesn't exist yet because I'm not actively presently working on it. So I'm positioning myself for a future engagement, a future task, but presently it does not exist. So it is not my job to worry about how this video is going to come out until I am presently editing the video. Just like I have a quilt planned for September. I have an idea of where to start. I have all the fabric, I have a color palette. So I'm positioning myself for a future goal. But until I am presently cutting it and sewing it and pressing it all together, it does not exist. Even after I finish creating it and the video is uploaded, it exists in a time and space in which I am not, so it is not my job to worry about it. And that has brought me so much peace. When I'm reading my book, if I have other things to do that day, set a timer. I only have 30 minutes, and for these 30 minutes, I'm going to be reading my book, and I will be moving forward on this goal, doing something that I enjoy doing, moving forward on something. Great. And then the next 30 minutes maybe are time blocked for something else if you're a time blocker. But what I'm trying to say is like you can set limits for yourself by setting timers if you're somebody who can get lost in things and you have a lot that you would like to like work on and move forward with. But the key is staying present. I'm still figuring it out. It's still a process. It's still an ebb and a flow. It's still one big grand experiment in life. I just know that for me, what I have been experiencing within the last week or so since editing my burnout video is finding more peace in the present moment. And I am eager to continue this experimentation with the present moment and not stressing about things that are beyond my control, because I think that is the heart of the discomfort. I'm freaking out about my goals and dreams not coming to fruition fast enough. I'm freaking out about this like urgency of needing things to be finished quickly. That's just not true. When what I've noticed about myself is when things begin to feel urgent, I'm typically out of alignment, as I think I've mentioned already in this video. In human design, I'm a manifesting generator 4-6 profile, so my not self is very much manifest by urgency. And being more aware of that over the last, I think I started learning about human design in like March. Being more cognizant of that has helped me realize when I am out of alignment, when things are starting to feel really urgent, I have to take a step back, because if it was for me in this present moment, it would be here. The opportunity would be available. So when things start to feel urgent, it means that that door is not open. That timeline is not exactly accessible to me in the way that I think it should be in this exact present moment. That doesn't mean that it will never be open to me. In this present moment, I need to focus on the feet below me, the air and the space around me, and navigate my way to that timeline as opposed to trying to jump cut. Because jump cuts are just not how I personally have experienced physical reality. You typically have to take steps to get to where you want to go. So, wanting projects to be done, gotta take steps to get them done, Have to be present, especially when you're working on a lot of different things. You have to stay present with each different medium and each different project as you're doing it, or else it gets really not fun. How can you have fun knitting on a sweater when you're just thinking about something else the whole time? It just really takes the fun and the point away, in my opinion. That's how I'm going to close this. I'm still figuring things out. I still have a lot of life to live, hopefully. and it's one step at a time. I think in the grand scheme of things and the list of projects that I had that we were gonna get done together during this vlog, I think the only one that I got done was the notebooks. Everything else has just kind of been like, yeah, we tinker along slowly. Still haven't finished those pendants, you know. Haven't finished sewing some of the clothes that are on my list, and now that it's turning into fall, might not finish that until next year, because when am I going to wear a tank top again? Thank you guys for watching. If you gained any insight into this video, let me know about it in the comments. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, subscribe, share this with a friend. Tell me one good thing about your day. What are you working on? Let me know. Tell me about yourself in the comments down below. Yeah, I have all my offerings on my website. You can find the link for that in the link tree down in the description, as well as like the links to TikTok and Instagram and all that good jazz. Yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I have sketchbook tours being uploaded monthly. I'm playing a little bit of catch up on that. Yeah, I think that's all I have for you guys. Until next time, my friends, love you. Bye.